am tired. I know I look fantastic.
You do, Jimmy.
But I am 58 years old.
Oh my gosh.
And the travel is hard.
I feel like
the travel, especially when you have to, like, if you go someplace on a Thursday and you don't come home on a Monday, you get to acclimate. But we had to get on a plane 3 days in a row.
Yeah, right.
And you got to get up early for that. Yeah. You get up at 5:30 on fucking Saturday, so we had the early flight in case there was weather, and I'm exhausted.
I'd have to uncrumple for 3 full days from any flight.
I'm exhausted. I probably shouldn't do today's show. I probably shouldn't. Right in the middle of my set Saturday night, I felt like I was getting sick. I was like, oh, fuck. I think I'm getting COVID again or something.
Were you?
No, it's just I was tired.
I mean, I wasn't disappointed that you didn't have COVID. I went, oh.
I was just tired.
How were those shows, though?
The shows were mental. These people are out of their fucking minds.
Where's this?
You got to come on the road with us someday when Steph
Oh, they ask for you all the time.
Yo.
I have a bit about you.
So we were in Athens. Was that Athens, Georgia? And then Ashland, Virginia.
They were on
so many nice people. Unbelievable. Loved it. I met this one guy, Chris, last night. I guess where we were, I don't know, the night before. And we didn't get to take a photo together, Chris. Sorry about that. But it was so nice meeting Jimmy and Pam and all the other folks. Back to Jim.
Yeah, the crowd was on their feet for like the last 5 minutes of the show in Ashland. I was like, you peak, don't peak too early. Like, wait.
Oh, I like to bring him down myself with my with my material I thought was good, but it did not hit as hard.
And then the Georgia Theater was fantastic, except they didn't tell anybody that the meet and greet was before the show.
Why would you?
So we had to do it after the show, which I was exhausted.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where they have it's a theater, but there's a bar in the back of the room.
Mm-hmm.
And so then there's the entrance right there. I can see the entrance and the exit right there. And it was completely lit. And there was a bouncer sitting there like this. I'm like, really? You hear the place screaming and cheering? And the one person I can see who's got a spotlight on him is just sitting like this. Like, none of this at any point. You're over it, huh? You're over it? You hear shit like this all the time, do you? I almost stopped the show several times.
Because of that?
Yeah, just to make fun of him. Like, really, you're over it, huh? You see shit like this all the time?
I let them. I'm fine with that. If somebody's like,
I don't mind. I don't. But when it's like there's a spotlight on them. Could you fucking have that guy stand somewhere else so I'd have to watch someone be bored with me? The whole fucking place is screaming. You would go, hey, I wonder what all the ruckus is about.
That's very Mark Maroney to focus
That's why
on
I didn't
the one guy.
That is, I know.
Mark Maron, he always would focus on the one guy. One time I had to just go to the
when
bathroom.
they're fucking spotlit. Go ahead.
Yeah, one time I just go to the bathroom at a show.
He got mad at me one time for laughing, Mark Maron.
Yeah,
I was laughing. He got mad at me.
If there's
he thought I was being sarcastic. I wasn't. I was enjoying his act.
I remember that bit too.
You can put it. Honestly, like I decide you put a spotlight on anybody. I won't get sucked into giving a shit if you're doing this. Like, I don't give a shit like that. I won't ever give that power away.
That's smart. You're smart.
Well, it's from years of giving that away.
Yeah.
It's from years. I'll tell you what the host did. This dude, Ryan A. Horn, the host, and I at first thought he made a mistake because some guy, they were drunk on one late night show like Friday. There's always a Friday drunk show.
Yeah.
And so they're really loud, and he invited this guy to come on stage, and I'm like, I would never give away the first layer of power.
99.9% of the time, that's a horrible idea.
Well, guess what? This guy came up, and he had a vest and a ponytail, and was trying to do it, and it
trying
actually
to do comedy.
Yeah, he tried to do stand-up, and it actually, like, really validated Ryan big time for bringing it. I would have never had that beautiful moment.
Because you never know. The guy might get lucky, and the crowd just might be on his side.
Yeah, I wouldn't risk
and then you look like a fucking idiot.
Yeah, so it really is like, I would have missed out if I had been the host on seeing. Then I made fun of the guy after. Because it's hilarious. The guy was that confident with a vest and a ponytail. Can you imagine?
The whole thing about comedy is that if you're good at comedy, Kurt, which you are.
Sometimes.
If you're good at comedy, if someone's really good at comedy, you make it look easy. You make it look like you're just talking.
Yeah, well, a lot
and you're
of
just
ex-girlfriends between
that,
became comics.
And that's why so many people think that they can do it. They're like, well, I think those same thoughts. I could just go up there and say them.
Well, you could.
That's what you could, but that's not what we're doing. We're actually doing a craft that takes years of trial and error. Years of trial, mostly error.
Well, you could skip it all if you could actually have zero ego when you went on, and where it doesn't crush you. You could probably skip years of trial and error. But who the hell could do that? Very few people.
When I did comedy, the first time I got on stage, I got laughs, and that happens to a lot of comedians who end up being comedians. The same story. The first time it goes good for whatever reason, because you have all this confidence that you don't have any right to have. And then I didn't get a laugh for a month.
Yeah,
for a month,
why did I think I could do this?
What the fuck?
Because you didn't have to think about walking before.
I remember,
or your tongue in your mouth, or like you didn't have to think about things that are natural. And now you suddenly got to mechanically figure out a thing that you would have just done normally in your life. But now you're going to be professional. So now you got to really figure out all the mechanics of the thing you never thought about that you just did.
I remember, like, I was on stage one time when I first started, and I was like, folks, if you guys don't like this, I don't have to do this anymore. It took a long time, but I would keep seeing people I knew I was funnier than do well, and I'm like, so that's why. Then you spend a lot of time thinking it's a trick, and it's not. It's not a trick.
Being funny is probably 8th on the list of important things. That's what you ultimately realize.
It takes for me and most people, it just takes a lot of trial and error. And if you have talent, you'll be able to do it.
But Chelsea Handler sent a tape of her getting railed, mixed in with her set.
I heard that story. Is that true?
Yeah. You can look it up. Why didn't I think of that?
Why didn't I think of that?
Cutting to me. Cutting to my O face.
Could have had Diddy giving it to me.
Yeah, I could have just done. Yeah, it didn't occur to me. Hats off to her.
Hey, our two favorite guys. You remember Jackson was on this show?
Tortoise in the Hare.
The Tortoise in the Hare. And they have this great sexual relationship, we surmise.
I think they both just really care about the dogs at this point. I don't think the sex is that hot.
But they were both very hot for Jackson. Jackson, you look gorgeous.
Yeah, he's like a new little...
Have you been working out? Yeah, but you look fantastic.
They had feelings stirred they haven't felt in years. Yeah.
And then Jackson goes, you guys are pretty obsessed with my appearance. And they go, well, isn't everybody?
Yeah. Wait, I thought we said that as a joke about it.
We said it as a joke, and then they said it.
Oh, that's right.
No, they said it.
And then that's when we realized that was a wig on the hair.
So
they're both tortoise. That was
this is the Tortoise in the Hare. I kind of like these guys now, actually.
Yeah, I know.
I might want to do their show. They've invited me, and I said no, but I think it would be fun. So watch this.
Yeah,
watch
there is something.
Watch how they bicker. What I love is how they bicker.
Yeah, right.
So let's watch this. So they have this. I got this from Due Dissidence. They tweeted it out. So she's a Palestinian activist, I think. She's there to advocate on behalf of the Palestinians. But watch how they bicker. This is fun. Watch.
The reason that people pose this question is because they want to defend Israel's right to continue its genocide,
well, that is why they're doing
its
it.
ethnic
it's not
cleansing,
a genocide, is it?
to continue its ethnic cleansing of the
How can
Palestinians.
35,000, if the Hamas
Because
figures are
Israel-
accepted, be a genocide from 2 million
Israel,
people?
how many would be a genocide?
2 million people. Or a million and a half.
Let's just
35,000 can't.
stop talking. Stop talking. Can we shut the flip up?
Every war is genocide.
Can we just? I mean, you will go. I will sack you.
Well, Israel have killed the smallest
Ash,
amount of
can you be
innocent people
quiet
that
a minute?
there's ever been in modern warfare. I'm just
shut
making
up.
a fact. Just
Now
saying.
the producer's telling you, and if you don't shut
just-
up, you're going to have to go.
Kick them off.
Has to do.
The fact is that genocide or ethnic cleansing would have resulted in the whole of that area of being finished by now.
Right.
And the Israeli army are doing everything they can to try and stop Oh, funny.
Genocide looks like October the 7th, what Hamas did.
Doing everything they can. The Israeli army and the Israeli government have made it quite clear exactly what they want to do.
Tell me what
which is to continue cleansing and driving all of the Palestinians out of that land.
There's no point with it.
And the reason that they're doing that, you invited me onto the show
we're
to
disinviting you now.
and now you're trying to stop me
That's right.
from
Yeah, you talk crap.
exposing the truth of what you people...
You're lying. You're telling lies.
Listen, I didn't want this. I want this to go properly. So I'm going to give you 2 minutes, right, to state what you think nobody is actually agreeing. I want you to put your whole point forward. No interrupting from you. I'll take the microphone. And just make everybody know. Go for it.
The reason why
So this is a mistake because she's actually going to mow him down. Let's watch.
politicians and other presenters, particularly in Britain and particularly in the West, are doing so much to try and pretend that Israel has the right to do what it's doing is because Israel is a key ally of Western imperialism, a key ally of America in that whole region. The US and Israel have a trade relationship worth billions. And it's not just the US. There's multinational corporations that are advertising real estate in Gaza. What this comes down to is imperialist interests across the whole of the Middle East and the drive to continue that going, because British imperialism many years ago, nearly 100 years ago, took land that wasn't theirs and tried to give it away to another people. And that was a crime, and it's a crime that has continued ever since then up until now. And the Palestinians are suffering a horrific experience because of that.
So that was fun. You want to watch the beginning again, Kurt?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, what's
The reason that people pose this question is because they want to defend Israel's right to continue its genocide.
Well, that is why they're doing it.
It's not a genocide, is it? To continue its ethnic cleansing of the Palestinians.
How can 35,000, if the Hamas figures are accepted, be a genocide from 2 million people?
Israel, how many would be a genocide?
2 million people. Or a million and a half.
Let's just stop talking. Stop talking.
Idiocy.
Can we shut the flip up?
Every war is genocide.
Can we just? I mean, you will go. I will sack you. I will sack
Israel
you.
have killed the smallest amount of innocent people that has ever been in modern warfare. I'm just making a fact.
Now the producer's telling you, and if you don't shut up, you're going to have to go.
I've got to make facts. You know, it has to do.
The fact is that genocide or
So anyway, I thought. First of all, so whoever that is did a great job. And I'm sure we're going to see her at the next WEF meeting.
Yeah.
Or the Gates Foundation.
By the way, I love the thing of where you get into the semantic argument about if it qualifies as genocide.
Genocide.
You know when neo-Nazis will go, it wasn't 6 million Jews. It was more like probably like 250,000. Like, is that really good though? Is that okay? Let's say the thing you're saying is right. How does that in any way make you feel like it's... What is there like a discount on it? That's a lot of murder, dude. Even at your lowered numbers,
you're worse than Manson.
Like, and
Todd
that. It's absurd.
I know. Ted Bundy's vilified forever for doing 30, 40 murders, but they do that before 9 a.m. over in Gaza.
I told you when I talked to that one gangster dude about Sammy the Bull, because I wanted to have him on my podcast.
Yeah,
this one dude, and I mean he was pleasant enough to talk to. I liked him, but he goes, those guys were really into being gangsters. And so they all have grudges of like, he didn't kill all those people like he said. He probably only killed 3 people. And I was like, but isn't that like good? It really is amazing. All gangsters that you get like a Stockholm syndrome with, where you're supposed to like not snitch and root for their murders.
Yeah.
That's why America's the ultimate gangster, because you're supposed to like... That's why I didn't buy, by the way, the Kim Jong-un guy that was on, the North Korea guy, because I'm still hearing that my life is all about this one family. If I got to pick where I get a few families to ally with, I don't want just one where my life is about preserving your family's hegemony on the whole area. I don't I really am not, would like none of that ever again.
You know what's funny to me is I was reading the comments under that. I wanted to see how people reacted to Oz. And some people were like, all right, Jimmy, that's it. I'm done with you. Because I had on Haas. I had on Michael Malice just a few days earlier saying the exact opposite.
It could go. I would never
I was like, I don't know anything about North Korea. I had 2 people with opposing views come on and talk about it. I don't know. Make up your own mind.
Well, I guess they feel deplatforming works.
I don't know anything about North
All
Korea.
these cunts are on board with deplatforming. They're all on board with
I know.
it.
Okay, that was fun. And that young lady did a great job.
Fiona Lolly.
Her
It's
name
right
is Lolly, Fiona Lolly, pro-Palestinian activist. I bet they brought her on because they thought they just have the same argument. It's not a genocide, is it? Is it?
Yeah, no.
That's all they say.
This is why all these debates, I would never get hung up on these buzzwords. They become magic words. They create walls in people's minds.
Yeah.
It's a waste of time. How about they just murdered a bunch of kids and I feel like they didn't have to do that? And they're doing everything they can. Well, what they can do is nothing, apparently, because they're not avoiding it at all.
They're using 2,000-pound bombs. That's a 2,000-pound bomb could kill someone 2 football fields away. So those aren't your surgical strikes. They're just slaughtering people en masse in Gaza. And there's a lot of people who think that's okay. No kidding. A lot of Zionists say, well, look what we did in Dresden. They say that. You've heard them. People, friends of ours have said that.
Because Israel is a golem they made out of hate and fear from being persecuted. And if you ever saw the golem or Frankenstein, the monster unmakes you. You create the monster. You pour all your hate and fear into it.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually it unmakes you. And you're looking at it right now.
Well, that's what it didn't. Was it Nietzsche who said, "Be careful when you stare into the abyss, because eventually the abyss will stare back into you. Be careful when fighting monsters that you don't become a monster yourself." And that's exactly what has happened. And I don't think Zionists were ever fighting monsters. I think they were always doing to the Palestinians what the Germans did to them. They were displacing them and trying to steal their shit.
There was always Jews that were against the perversion of Judaism.
That's right.
There was always Christians against there's always somebody who's like gets the message of the thing, and those people exist. That's why you can't generalize everybody. And then there's always the other side that thinks they're the like left-hand path or whatever bullshit. And that's who does all this stuff.
Okay, over to Steph.
Uh-huh.
If I were Rabbi Shmuley and diddle-diddle-diddle-digga-digga-diddle-diddle-dum, all day long I'd diddle little bums. If I were a Shmuley man, I'd peddle all my dildos, dreidel dildos, selling dildos with my daughter and her mum. If I were a Jewish Shmuley man, I'd be digging with a dildo in my bum. I'd wear a grotesque nose and go grab some goyim right on the nipple with a pinch. A Shabbos lap dance brace for the youngest mensch.
At this time, more than any other time, revolution is necessary. It is necessary. Not only based on what has happened with the MOVE organization, the babies that have been murdered, MOVE adults that have been murdered, bombs being dropped on us, but past that to what is happening with all black people, so-called minority people, money poor people. This government, as has been said earlier, has waged war on us. But something about us, particularly here in America, we don't really understand that. We don't really know what war is, for black people, for poor people, that people see as good, that they wasn't forced to do, that they didn't do to try to keep black people appeased, and calm down so that black people wouldn't riot. A prison situation is a crystallized example of that. You can make phone calls in prison. They have movies in prison. But they don't have those things because they just want to be nice to prisoners. They have those things because they know damn well if they don't have, people being able to contact their family, if they don't have, facilities for people to sit there and watch movies, people are going to be frustrated, upset, and they're going to direct that frustration at them prison administrators. And they're going to have riots on their hands. They're going to have people in them prisons turning them prisons out. That's why they have movies. That's why they have access to phones the way they do. And a stop to it when we don't like it, or encouraging it when it's something that's in our interest. We have to call the shots. The people have to take the reins of this system and start dictating, what we need, what needs to be done. And, taking the initiative to do it ourselves. We can't rely on this system. Don't people see what's happening? Every single confrontation that MOVE people have been involved in, every single issue, oppression, economic issues, every single issue facing our people, is something that can be dealt with very, very simply. All people got to do is make their wishes known. All people have to do is stand up and say, listen, we're not accepting that. Unity is the key. Unity is the key to revolution. Revolution ain't nothing to be afraid of. It ain't nothing to shy away from. Revolution, contrary to what officials, this system and those backing the officials running the system, want people to believe that revolution means violence, means blood in the street. I'm saying it can get to that point, but it don't have to be violent. When people come together and take a strong stand on an issue, this government don't have no choice but to listen. Where you think they get their authority from? They don't have no power, but they do have authority to do certain things. Where you think they get it from? They get it from us, from the people. They get it from us accepting the things that they do to be done to stop it. Then you have some people who want to then turn around and say, yeah, well, it's the best we have, and want to make excuses. The time for excuses is over. It's over. Every man, woman, and child has to be involved in this revolution. Not only has to be, but is, whether you want to be or not. Our babies gave their lives for this revolution on May 13th. Men, women, and children were murdered. And not just MOVE babies. What about all of the young men, women, children 8, 9 years old shot down on the street by cops, by drug pushers? Where do you think that mentality comes from? It comes from this system, from the mentality of this system of getting over, making a quick buck, I'm saying that's where that needs to be done to stop it. Then, what I want people to really, really understand is that it's past time. It is past time for poor people, black people, you know, to realize that this system has failed you. It has failed you. You can't get nothing from it. And what people got to do is withdraw our support from it and start doing for ourselves. That's what we got to do. You know, how long are people going to sit back and beg, you know, this government to do what's right when for hundreds of years all you've gotten is a slap in the face? All you've gotten is this government kicking your ass. That's all. That's all black people have ever gotten from this government.
Hey, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down there for more AM Joy and the rest of MSNBC. And click on any of the videos right here to watch the latest interviews and highlights. And you can get more videos from MSNBC for free every day with our newsletters. Just visit